Read this sentence once, quickly, the way you'd normally read a text message. Now go back and look again. There's a duplicated word sitting right in the middle of that sentence, and there's a solid chance you read straight past it the first time without noticing anything wrong at all. That's not a flaw in your intelligence. It's a direct result of how your brain actually processes written text. And once you understand the mechanism, you'll start catching it happening constantly. Cognitive scientist Keith Rayner spent decades studying exactly this, using eye-tracking equipment to map precisely where readers' eyes land, and just as importantly, where they don't. Here's what his research revealed. Your eyes don't glide smoothly across a page the way it feels like they do. They move in quick, tiny jumps called saccades, landing briefly on certain words, then jumping past others entirely without ever directly looking at them. On average, skilled readers only fix their eyes on roughly 70 to 80% of the words on a page. The rest get filled in automatically, guessed and processed using peripheral vision and context, without ever receiving your full, direct attention. Short, predictable function words are the most commonly skipped. Words like the, a, of, and carry relatively little unique information on their own, so your brain often decides they're not worth the cost of a direct fixation and skips straight past them toward more meaningful words instead. Which is exactly why the slips by so easily. Your brain already predicted a the was coming based on the sentence structure, registered the shape of it out of the corner of your visual field, and moved on before ever actually confirming there were two of them sitting there. This system exists for a genuinely useful reason. Reading every single word with full, deliberate attention would be exhausting and painfully slow. Skipping and predicting lets you read at a comfortable pace by leaning on context to fill gaps your eyes never directly examined. It's essentially the same shortcut your brain uses everywhere else. Fast, efficient, usually correct, and occasionally spectacularly wrong in ways you'd never expect. This exact mechanism is also why proofreading your own writing is notoriously unreliable. When you already know what a sentence is supposed to say, your brain leans even harder on prediction, filling gaps based on intent rather than what's actually printed on the page in front of you. A typo in your own email might sit there for days, completely invisible to you, while a total stranger spots it within seconds. They have no expectations to fill in with. You do, and your brain is using those expectations to save effort at every opportunity. Editors and proofreaders actually exploit a known trick to work around this. Reading text backward, sentence by sentence, or even word by word, strips away the predictable context your brain relies on, forcing it to actually examine each word individually, instead of skimming past it on autopilot. There's a broader pattern buried in this that extends well past reading. Your brain constantly substitutes prediction for direct observation across almost everything you experience, filling gaps with a plausible best guess rather than fully processing every single detail available to you. Most of the time, that shortcut works perfectly well, which is precisely why you never notice it happening. Go back and reread that opening sentence one more time, now that you know what to look for, and notice how differently it lands the second time around, once your brain stops predicting and actually starts checking. You weren't reading every word on this screen just now. You were reading most of them, and quietly trusting your brain to invent the rest.